Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So a few days ago, I was watching Shelby Church's video about 10 different ways to use AI that she didn't think anybody else was doing. And I thought one of the things was kind of interesting. She talked about using Chat GPT for therapy. I really haven't figured out where AI is in my life and how to utilize it. I do have an account. I have a pro account. I mostly have the pro account because I like to play around with the image generation. And you only get 5 a day unless you have the pro account. And I do like to kind of use it as like a sounding board for asking questions about my business or having ideas for it. But I really haven't found like a go-to way that I use ChatGPT or how to integrate AI into my life. Like, I'm more in a place of just experimenting with it. I still have really weird feelings about it, but regardless of how I feel, I think it's something that's here to stay. It's going to continue to integrate into people's lives, and I want to at least learn about it, understand how it works, be able to use it, and at least have my mind thinking about ways that maybe I could get help from it or, you know, gain anything from it. And I thought the therapy thing was kind of interesting, just because I was watching another video prior to that where this guy was trying to convince Chat that it was conscious. And I just think things like that, like thought experiments and stuff like that, is really interesting. And I thought if I was going to play around with the therapy thing, kind of just like talking to Chat, that I would do it with you guys so you could get anything out of it. I do have a pro account, but I think the voice feature or being able to talk with it is available on the free account. But yeah, so the topic I'm going to get into today, I'm not going to get super deep into my entire life or anything like that. But I recently had attempted to go to therapy a couple of times. My cat Nebby passed away in October. If I can figure out the editing, I will put a photo of her here. She passed away in October, and I tried to go to therapy just because it was kind of my first big run-in with grief. I've been very blessed in that way to not have experienced a lot of it. And then just like the way she passed, which I'll get into when I'm talking to Chat, was really hard for me to deal with. So I went to therapy the first time, and the first person I just did not connect with at all. I only did one session. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Basically, I went in there for the whole session. We talked about it for a couple minutes. He told me, in my opinion, a silly little story, and then literally asked me, do you feel better? And I'm like, no. So that was not going to work for me either. And I spent money on that. And then I tried again, because I know it's one of those things where you just need to find the right person. And this next one was a lot better. It was a woman. I was able to talk to her, like we were friends and we had a good relationship, but I was really the one talking, and unless I was talking, she really wasn't contributing anything to the conversation, in my opinion. She was supportive and she was nice, and she would just kind of be like, oh yeah, that is tricky, or that is difficult, because we talked about more than just my cat, but never really, I know she can't tell me what to do with my life, but just, give me something, coping something. But I gave that a try for a few months, spent money on it, would sit around after work waiting for the appointments, because I like to do in-person appointments, which is another reason why this will be interesting for me, because I don't really like telehealth. I'll do it out of convenience when I'm actually sick, but in terms of like therapy, I want to go talk to somebody, I want to connect with them in person, I want to talk face to face. If I can do one less thing on my phone, that's what I'm going to do. I know this is completely the opposite of that, but I was paying for those things. They were taking time out of my life to wait around for those appointments and things like that, and I really didn't feel like I was getting anything out of it. So I'm just curious to see, if I'm feeling a few things, if I can just toss up my Chat, in comparison, I didn't really feel like I had great appointments or really wasn't getting any feedback. Chat is always going to say something to me, so I'm curious to see if it's more comforting things, or if it's actually trying to give me legitimate advice, or what that's going to look like. So I thought it would just be fun for us to try that together. So with that being said, I'm just going to keep the therapy session. I've already been talking for about 5 minutes. So I'll just keep this section 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there, depending on how the conversation is going, and see if it's something that could work for me in the future. And then you guys will have that information for yourselves to see if it's something worth you guys looking into. Hey chat, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
So what kind of brings me here to you today is I lost my cat in October, and I had done a few therapy sessions and didn't really feel like I was getting anything out of it, but today I'm kind of feeling a certain kind of way. I'm missing her quite a bit, and I just kind of wanted to talk to you about how I was feeling.
I'm really sorry to hear about your loss. Losing a pet can be incredibly tough, and it's completely normal to have days where you miss her more. Talking about how you feel is a great step. What kinds of memories are coming up for you today?
I think today I'm just maybe experiencing a little bit of guilt. Nebby had passed away from what seemed like 2 types of cancer. She had a huge tumor in her leg that we ended up amputating, and she ended up having another tumor in her jaw, which we obviously couldn't remove her jaw, and then she ended up having a hard time eating and would eventually get to the point where she couldn't eat and we'd have to put her to rest. And some days it's hard to cope with that she didn't go peacefully. We did put her down peacefully, but it wasn't of old age or anything like that. She was really struggling up until the end, and some days I just remember those last few weeks with her and really having a hard time with it.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It sounds like you gave Nebby so much love and care, and those last moments must have been incredibly hard. Feeling guilty is a natural part of grief, but it's important to remember that you did everything you could to ease her suffering. It's okay to miss her and to feel a mix of emotions. Maybe try to focus on the happy memories you shared and remind yourself that you gave her a loving home.
Yeah, so when I start feeling this way, it kind of comes on pretty quickly. Do you have any ideas on what I can do in those moments to kind of bring myself back to center?
Absolutely. One helpful technique is to take a few deep, slow breaths to calm your mind and body. You can also try grounding yourself by focusing on something around you, like the feel of a textured object or the sound of your breathing. Another idea is to recall a happy memory with Nebby, or even look at a favorite photo of her to shift your focus to the love you shared. Over time, these little practices can help you regain a sense of calm when those feelings hit.
That sounds like really good advice. She's been gone since October. How long do you think I could experience having moments like this?
Grief doesn't really follow a set timeline, so it's normal for these moments to come and go, even months or years later. Everyone processes loss differently, and there's no right or wrong amount of time. The intensity of these feelings usually eases over time, but it's completely okay to have waves of sadness now and then. Being kind to yourself and allowing those feelings to surface when they come can actually help you heal in the long run.
Sometimes I put pressure on myself to spend time thinking about her every day because I don't want the memory of her to be lost. And I feel really guilty if I forget to think about her, or we have been taking care of a new cat and I feel guilty for replacing her sometimes. Do you have anything to say about that?
I understand how you feel. It's natural to worry about keeping Nebby's memory alive, but you don't have to think about her every single day to honor her. The love and care you gave her are part of you, and those memories will always be there. It's also okay to open your heart to a new cat without feeling like you're replacing Nebby. Your new cat is not a replacement, but a new companion who can bring joy in a different way. Loving another pet doesn't diminish the love you had for Nebi, it just shows how big your heart is.
Thank you. That actually does make me feel a little bit better. Do you have any other coping advice for me as I go forward?
I'm glad that helped a bit. One more thing you might find helpful is creating a small ritual or tribute for Nebi. It could be something like lighting a candle, keeping a small photo album, or even planting a flower or a tree in her memory. It can be comforting to have a way to honor her that feels meaningful to you. Also, if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to reach out to friends, family, or even a support group who understand what you're going through. Remember, healing is a journey, and it's okay to take it one step at a time.
Even having this conversation right now is starting to feel a little bit overwhelming. Do you have any advice for me now?
Of course, if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, try to take a short break and focus on something simple and calming. You could step outside for a moment, listen to a favorite song, or do a gentle stretch. It's okay to give yourself permission to pause and come back to these feelings when you're ready. Taking care of yourself in these moments is really important.
When Nebi passed, or a few weeks before Nebi passed away, we had a bee infestation, and I didn't really understand how the remediation of the infestation was going to take place. And they ended up opening up drywall in our master bedroom and spraying the bee. I don't know if it was pesticide or whatever it was, but I'm going to call it pesticide. And I don't know if it's a coincidence that a few weeks later she would come down with cancer in her jaw. And I carry a lot of guilt for how I could have been better or understood the process of the bee problem a little bit better. And I have a really hard time dealing with that. Do you have any advice for me?
And so sorry you're carrying that weight. It's natural to look for explanations when something so difficult happens, but please remember that you did the best you could with the information you had at the time. It's highly unlikely that the remediation caused Nebi's illness, and cancer can develop for many reasons beyond your control. It's important to be kind to yourself and recognize that you were doing everything you could to create a safe and loving environment for her. If those feelings of guilt come up, try to remind yourself of all the good times and the love you gave her. If it helps, you could write down your feelings or talk to someone you trust. You're not alone, and it's okay to seek support when you need it.
Are you able to help me find any resources for support groups here in Henderson or Las Vegas, Nevada?
I'm sorry for your loss. In Henderson, Dr. Birgit Tan offers 24-hour pet loss support at 805-864-2002. In Las Vegas, Pet Loss Hurts provides free monthly support groups at 6315 South Rainbow Boulevard. You can reach them at 702-660-9720. Additionally, the Las Vegas Pet Loss Bereavement Support Group meets weekly. You can call 702-735-5544 for details.
Actually, a few of those options sound really good, so I think I might actually look into them. Can you save that and I'll revisit it later?
Got it. I've saved that info for you. Whenever you're ready to revisit it, just let me know.
Well, Chat, I think that's all I can handle talking about Nebi today. I really appreciate you being there for me, and I will talk to you later.
Of course, take care of yourself. I'm always here whenever you want to talk. Talk to you later.
Okay guys, so now that I'm done talking to her, the whole thing is transcribed into my account, so I can go back and revisit any of the things that she said to me, and I actually thought it was really interesting that I was able to get the resources for additional help beyond chat. I think that's really important. Obviously, I'm just playing around and having fun with this. I'm not really expecting chat to solve all my issues, obviously I honestly just think that everything is going to be a long-term thing for me to continue to deal with. She was the love of my life, so I think I will maybe look into some of those resources, but I think that was really interesting. Even if you don't want to talk to chat and kind of have a conversation like I did, to be able to type or even just ask what resources are available to you in your area could be a really nice tool, because I didn't know about any of those. I had kind of done a Google search, but that was actually different than the prior Google search I did, and it was nice that it also provided a free resource. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I really appreciate you if you made it to this point, taking the time to go through that with me, and I hope that potentially it could give you some value, whether you liked it or didn't like it. At least you can roll that out. And again, in the last video I talked about, if you have any ideas for content that you'd be interested in seeing, you can put that down in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.